Carlos Cortez here. I hope you are doing well. Well, let me tell you something. I was actually going to talk about what asset classes I predict are going to be doing very well during this pandemic 2.0 they are going to force down our throats. But then all of a sudden, Trump gets arrested or he gets booked and he turns himself in. And I couldn't focus on what I was going to talk about. So I'm just going to talk about Trump and obviously the elephant in the room here. Why this is going, my opinion on everything, and I would also I am going to answer one of those questions I did ask on one of my YouTube shorts. If you're new to the channel, feel free to like and subscribe. We're also on YouTube. We're on Twitter as well. Hopefully you can give us a follow there. On our other platforms, I'm able to do more inclusive videos behind the scenes of what goes on a day-to-day basis, and me just driving around town, being an average citizen, and just keeping my eyes and ears open on things that I want to talk about. Recently, I actually found out that there is a shortage on ATMs, but there's an increase on reverse ATMs. What is a reverse ATM? Well, you can play the tape right now. So standing behind me is what you're going to see moving forward as this country becomes more digitized in this hyper-digitization era we're in. You can now trade in your cash for credit as we go into this cashless society. This is what the agenda is being pushed right now, so that everybody gets connected to the blockchain. You also can buy Bitcoin with this machine. It's no longer just a regular ATM machine. So, for instance, you put your cash in here and it spits out a credit card, a debit card, and they're going to talk about the same words: track, trace, and control. They're going to say it's safe and effective. You can do online shopping. You can do commerce without risking your credit card information. So just be on the lookout as the global agenda tries to push you into a track, trace, and control type of nefarious agenda. Carlos Cortez of Scriptures and Wallstreet. So just like I was pulling into a gas station to get some diesel, you literally walk into a gas station now, and these reverse ATMs take your cash, and in return, they will give you a digitized credit card or a prepaid card, so you can buy stuff online. So you can use the Apple Pay technology, the Google Pay technology. You can just tap and swipe and be on your merry way. What does this do to the business owner? Well, it is literally like getting financially jabbed. Every time you send your money in to get a digital credit, you are walking away from a fundamental pillar of a business, which is cash. You've heard the saying, cash is king. Well, cash is not traceable. And with these idiots in Washington and people like Stacey Abrams and all the Luciferians and the woke agenda, at the core of all these evil people, they want to track, trace, and control you. That's what Satan wants to do. They just want to control you. And they're in it for the long game, by the way. They're not going to get it overnight. But they're in it for the long game. So if they can give you a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you can mold yourself and self-destruct, that's what they do. And so they love using these words of it's effective, it's going to be safe, it's going to be convenient. And they almost belittle you for not getting jabbed, for not turning in your cash, for not turning in your gold, for not turning in your guns. You see where this is going. Like, this is not going to stop. These people have now pressured Trump into with all these fake indictments that are not going to stick. They put him into jail, and all they're doing is helping him get not 91 million, but 100 million views on that Tucker interview. I mean, the presidential GOP debate was a joke. It was like an interview, a desperate interview for vice presidents. There's no one in the world that Trump is going to pick out of that crap storm of a pile of candidates, he's not going to pick any of them. Like they just don't. He didn't even want to speak in the same stage, let alone pick any of those guys. So he's got to pick somebody who likes and trusts. So it is my prayer that he wins. Our country more than ever desperately needs him back. They're going to try to jail him. They're going to try to literally suffocate him. I predict there might even be an assassination attempt on him. That's going to be the next step. When he walks out of jail, when he walks out of the voting booth, when he walks out of his home, they know the next place is going to be the White House. They're petrified of that. And they're probably going to, some crazy lunatic is probably going to try to assassinate him. I hope that is not the case. And I hope I am wrong. But I really fear for his life at this point. Like, that's the final straw. That's what they do. So you don't abide by them. You don't live by their code. They take you out. They take your knees underneath you. They take your legs right underneath you. That's what's happening right now. I feel even under this pressure, and Sidney Powell and all the other attorneys, Giuliani, they're locking them up, or they obviously turn themselves in. It's all going to blow up in their faces. The left, they can play this game all day, every day, but we seem to be one step closer. I mean, the Plandemic 2.0 is coming. You guys know that the EK5, whatever they call this COVID strain, I don't know what it is. Could care less. But what they're going to do is they're going to try to force everybody into getting the vaccine and mail-in ballots. It's going to be 2020 all over again. The mail-in ballots, the vaccine. I think this time around, they're going to somehow sneak in FedNow program even more behind the scenes, because they're going to make you, since we're vulnerable, with lockdowns, everything is very tight. If they pull this stupid fake Plandemic again, people are going to be very scared. And they know that when they're scared, you have full track, trace, and control of them. They're going to comply. People are going to get vaccinated. They're going to hand in their cash. They're going to hand in their guns. They're going to hand in their gold. And many of them are Christian, quote unquote, Christian patriots that are going to do this because the government said so. Guys, we have the right to bear arms. We have the right to have commerce. We have the right to have scriptures on our silver. We have the right for medical freedom. We have the right to choose. We have the right to what? To bear arms. We have the right to be free. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. And so as they plan this Plandemic all over again, how does this affect your retirement? Like, what are you doing right now? The market could go down another 30%. How many times I got to say that you need to have security in your retirement? I'm sorry, buying I-bonds is not secure as you think. Every time the interest rates rise, you will lose part of your principal. You need to have a contractual guarantee on your funds for a portion of your funds that will guarantee your principal. So you can go to bed at night and you don't have to worry about, oh my goodness, is the stock market going up this week? Is it going down next week? How are we going to retire? Oh man, I can only take 4%, not 6%. You don't need to be playing that game in retirement, guys. I mean, there are products right now, you get a 10% bonus. 10% bonus on your money. You take 5 to 6% out, and your accounts are growing more than with your withdrawal. Principal protected. You have insurance on your money. You have private insurance account. The government cannot track, trace, and control you because you are an account owner. We had a bunch of calls this week. Unfortunately, some failed rollovers. What I mean by that is we get clients that call us and they say, Carlos, I want to secure my retirement. I'm ready to roll this sucker over and I want to protect it. Perfect. Great. We're here to help. Not a problem. We make the phone call to Fidelity or Empower Network and the dreaded words, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Client. You already took a loan. You already took a withdrawal. We cannot roll these funds over into your own private IRA, third-party IRA. And the client's devastated. Absolutely devastated. So what is the solution? Well, we have it. Call us. We can give you advice on your 401k. Yes, we do charge fees. We charge a 1% fee. It's not a secret. But for possibly less than that, depending on your assets, we can advise you on what to do with your 401k. Your 401k is most likely your number one retirement vehicle. If you do not have professional advice on your 401k, you cannot call Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Empower Network, ADT, ADP. You cannot call your 401k provider and give you advice because they're not financial advisors. They do not and will not give you financial advice on your participating qualified retirement employer-sponsored programs. They don't want the risk. And here's what's crazy is they're not fiduciaries. So let me say my legal disclaimer here. As you guys know, I am a financial advisor. Everything on this podcast is meant for educational and informational purposes only. This is not financial advice or should not be construed as financial advice on this podcast, everything I say on this podcast, and everything I say on future podcasts. So now that's over. If you are interested in receiving advice on your 401k and okay with hiring us to help you babysit your 401k as we go through this pandemic or whatever the heck we're going through, give us a call. We can keep your 401k wherever it's at. Just get advice on it. Simple as that. Maybe you don't know you're dealing with a woke fund and there are non-woke funds. There's non-ESG funds in your 401k. We don't know until we actually get in there and see your options. But give us a call. We want to help you. We have consultants that are securities licensed that can give you advice and that can help you with your 401k. So big program there. All you got to do is visit us at CortezWM.com. We can even see if it's even feasible to roll it over or when the time is right. So you want to be able to do that when the markets are up, down, or sideways. You want to be able to have access to that in-service withdrawal or quote-unquote rollover. So as I was driving around, as you guys remember, I was talking about the real estate commercial crisis that is happening in the last podcast. And I'm driving around and I do see United Healthcare. United Healthcare literally just walked away from Oldsmar. And it was just the headquarters in Oldsmar. There's no one there. I don't think they own the building. I think they were just renting. And there's thousands of people there all the time, and they're no longer there. We have over $400 billion that needs to be refinanced by here in 4 more months. And if not, then the banks lose out on this income they make from commercial loans. You're going to see more insolvent banks that you ever seen before, which is going to cause soft, quiet runs and bank runs like you've never seen. Last year, if you guys remember, on with Stu at the Money Minute, I predicted that Evergrande would go bankrupt, and guess what happened this week? Evergrande filed bankruptcy in their New York U.S. Court system, so they just went bankrupt. China is in a massive economic drawdown, recession, going into depression. Good for them. They get everything what they deserve for hooking us up with a nice bioweapon. It sounds like they're going to try to do it again to get China Joe back in the office. I don't even think he can mentally survive another 6 more months, let alone 2024 November. No, there's no freaking way. There's no way. So they're going to impose mass mandates. Guys, be very, very careful with the scammers out there. There's going to be a bunch of robocalls again. Do you guys remember all the robocalls you got during the Scandemic? It was terrible. So as you are doing more and more internet business online, make sure that whoever you speak to, you don't buy any goods unless you do this video. Because there's going to be tons and tons and tons of fake profiles, fake websites, fake companies. But whoever you conduct business with, make sure you are doing business via video. The the people that are scamming people, they're doing it without getting in front of the camera, because a lot of them are from Ivory Coast. They're from Nigeria. They're from other countries, even China, posing as a celebrity, posing as Stu, posing as me, posing as someone else that's an influencer, and people are getting caught up into this. So all you got to do is just video call them. And if they can't video call, all right, well, send me a picture of you saying my name on today's date. You can save yourself a lot of headaches. And honestly, there's been millions and millions of dollars that have been stolen through these impersonation scams. So be very careful. They're getting very smart with the scam callers and impersonation scams. So as this pandemic comes about, be very careful with these calls and these email requests on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. They'll pose as anything. And as you guys know, Brazil, Russia, India, and China. So here's the good news about the BRICS. The good news is America's still in the lead. It sounds and it looks like that America is losing its grip. And yeah, we are losing its grip, but we still got a strong arm. We still have resources. So don't give up on America. Brazil, Russia, India, and China. First and foremost, India and China don't want nothing to do with themselves. So if they're in the same union, like the BRICS union, that's not going to last, by the way. They hate their guts. So that is the good news. India, in my opinion, is more advanced in the BRICS nation than any other nation in the BRICS, because they already implemented digital pay systems. They have QR codes. They're very, very into technology and payment systems. They're very smart out there. So I really, really feel that China is threatened by India, and there's going to be a conflict there. And it's not as doom and gloom like everyone says. Yes, they are rising up. They have the road incentive map. Yes, I understand that Uganda is doing all these things and saying all these things. But a lot of it is just scare tactics, guys. The dollar is still the dollar. Like, if the dollar is not the world currency and we go to a gold standard, there are bigger issues. There are bigger issues than money. There are bigger issues than money. The precious metals you should be buying at that point are these puppies. Hallow points. Right? Because you're going to need hallow points. You're going to need survival food. You're going to need survival food. You're going to need tents. You're going to need a lot of things, really. Put my firearm away. Man, I love these guns. And we are blessed to have them. Oh, which my sponsor, Vanish. If you haven't had a chance yet, go out to Vanish, vanish.com/Cortez. Get you one of those really, really cool gun holsters. They're made with yoga pant material. Doesn't smell, doesn't stink. You can wash it. It's universal. And obviously, they're made here in America. If you don't like it, just return it. But for now, you can get a $50 discount just by going vanish.com/Cortez. They're one of our first major sponsors. So I love that. Thank you so much, Vanish, for sponsoring Scriptures and Wallstreet. And our listeners, hopefully, will like your stuff too and buy it. With that being said, I wanted to ask the question. And I got derailed with the whole Trump getting booked. But, man, did you guys watch that interview with Tucker? That was really cool. That was really cool to see. I think like in the first 20 minutes, there was 80 million people that had watched it. And then another 12 million watched it after the replay. It was just nuts. I've never seen anything like that. Fulton County website, when Trump got quote unquote arrested or booked, it actually crashed because people were wanting to see the mugshot. But what's interesting is he doesn't really need a mugshot because he's not a flight risk. Every mugshots are for flight risk. Like, people don't know who you are, so they can say, hey, this guy is a flight risk. And they can send a picture to the TSA or Interpol, whoever governing agency it is. So their attorneys were arguing Trump doesn't need a mugshot. I've never seen somebody go in a jail, get booked in, and then be out 27 minutes later. That's pretty amazing. And then he's back on the Tarmac on his Trump Force One, which is pretty badass. I pray. We need to pray, guys. We need to pray for the safety of President Trump. We need to pray that the Holy Spirit come back to our land, and that God gives us protection. God gives us protection. We don't want to put our faith in Trump. We don't want to put a faith in man. But we do want to put our faith in the blood of Jesus. We want to make sure that we still are his children. And let us not forsake. Let us not forget that. There are going to be people in their free will that blaspheme the cross, that share that evil Sodom and Gomorrah, that they'll laugh at the cross. They'll laugh at people like me and you. And let them have the laugh, but we know who has a final laugh. We know how the story ends. And guys, so more than ever, we have BRICS. We have Trump getting arrested. We have the commercial mortgage crisis. We have a dollar devaluing. We have a stock market that I don't know where it's going to go. JP Morgan now is saying by the end of 2023, it's just going to cap out. There's no more growth for the rest of the year. It can't be. Like, the major left media is saying this right now. So they're gearing up for something. They are gearing up for something. You remember I told you when we looked at the VIX that when it was down to 12, something's going to happen. Something will brew for it to happen. Well, it's happening right now, my friend. The VIX is creeping up again. Let me pull it up. I can't remember what it was today. I don't want to quote it wrong. So let me pull it up. Forgive me, guys. I don't have like this crazy technology. I'm just a normal guy with a camera, and I speak off the cuff and with an open heart. Yes, so the VIX is at $17.20. This is what I've been telling you guys. I've been predicting this, that once it gets close to 18, buckle up. This is no joke, my friend. So we have the volatility index, which is technically the fear and greed index. That is rising. You have the Fed saying that the Feds are not going to raise interest rates. Now they're thinking about raising interest rates now to 8% on mortgages. We have first home time buyers not of being able to afford first home time buying situations. So real estate in general, in residential, is going down. Airbnbs are down 40% across the globe. And credit card debt is over $1 trillion nationwide. So the single mom that doesn't have a good paying job, she's got to take credit card loans out just to get milk, bread, and just necessities and gas. So we really need to pray for our country, because here's what's crazy and truthful. Biden cannot get in and talk about Bidenomics when Americans don't like the economy right now. They don't like the gas station pump. They don't like the grocery bill. They hate even getting haircuts right now. It is like $40-something. I don't know what it is in your metropolitan area, but here in Tampa, it's $40 to get a haircut. I need one. I'm getting there. When you start seeing these grays come out, that's when I need to get a haircut. I'm 40 years old and I got wings like Polly from The Sopranos. So I like making fun of myself at your expense. No, I'm just messing. At my expense. However, for your entertainment is what I was saying. We just can't fear, guys. Look, we just can't fear. There's no way that Biden will be even able to survive another year and a half. Like, I just don't even think he can put one sentence together, let alone two sentences together. There's just no way he is such on a downward spiral mentally that he will not be competent enough to even run the United States. America's looking at countries are looking at America like we're a joke, and we are right now. We're at our weakest moment. He's literally the worst president of the United States, and we don't have to listen to Bidenomics or Kamala Ho's disgusting rant on how we did it, Joe, and how climate change is going to control, and oh yeah, we socked it to him when we sold 20 miles of the border. The first thing Trump's going to do when he gets in is secure the border. I mean, there's going to be a lot of first things, but we got to get rid of that border crisis ASAP. I mean, that's got to be a priority because these illegals are coming in and they're voting with no voter ID, and they're voting for they're voting for the left, and this is how they're able to control. And these people they don't speak English, they don't know what's going on. They want to track, trace, and control. That is their pillar mission statement. And a lot of them are just Satanists or atheists that just don't have a higher calling. They just don't want the best interest for America. They don't love God. They don't love our country. And they're just not a great fit. What I'm scared is, for many of you, that's who your advisor is. You're not on the same page with them spiritually, financially, economically, politically. You need to get on the same page with them, because at the end of the day, they're controlling your retirement. How do you know that they're not investing in BlackRock or Vanguard and all these other things? Like, do they agree with these companies? I mean, there's a lot of woke companies out there right now, guys. So I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I have used companies before, not because I have to, but really, when it comes to the brokerage world, here are your options. You have Fidelity, Charles Schwab, or TD Ameritrade. And TD Ameritrade was just bought out by Charles Schwab. So really, you just have Charles Schwab and Fidelity. Everything else could be risky because they're not big enough. And so the brokerage world is really going through a crisis now where it's an oligopoly. It's either black or white, and they're both bad. The cool thing about having a fiduciary is that no one can do anything without the consent of the client or the fiduciary. So if you're a current client of mine and you're worried about Charles Schwab takeover, don't worry. They can't do anything. And if they do, then you have more money than you could possibly imagine, because you could sue the freaking bejeebies out of them. So everything's going to be fine. We are looking at bringing on different money managers that are off of that platform. But yeah, if you are a client, give us a call, 813-448-3446. We're more than happy to explain these mergers and acquisitions, but there's no need to panic. Also, if you have a 401k and you just need advice on it, you can't move it, you're stuck there, give us a call. We got a program for you, and we're more than happy to help you. We can scan it. We can look at your investment objectives and your investment options and find your objectives and literally come up with a plan to help you manage the 401ks. So that is a whole new service we're offering. We're extremely excited to offer that. We can bill quarterly for that or monthly, whatever works for you. But what you're going to get is you're going to get professional advice on your 401k, and we would be your advisor on that account. And you don't have to leave your 401ks. So that is great. It's a win-win for everybody. So when it comes to the markets, I actually wanted to talk about one asset class that I think is going to do extremely well, that has already done well. It's actually two asset classes. The first one is storage units. In storage units, you have seen an uptick in storage units. Divorces are all-time highs. There's companies that can't pay their rent right now because they can't refinance. They were looking at buying a building. Maybe they own a building and they can't even refinance. So they got to find a storage unit. So storage units are going to skyrocket. They are going to be literally the new place of doing businesses, as well as flex buildings. So you'll see these buildings just pop up, not just storage units, but flex offices where they will be like garages with an office. Like there will be 90% garage or bays, warehouses with 10 to 20% of actual office space. Those are going to be the hottest pieces that are transitional as we go into these types of pandemics, scandemics, whatever you want to call them. These type of real estate projects are going to be extremely beneficial to investors. And it's called flex-based real estate. You can look it up. They are commercial properties, basically, that are recession-proof. If we don't have businesses, then we don't have flex spaces. So look into flex spaces in your area as you're driving by. They're very easy to build. You don't need all these contractors, first and foremost. So the owners and investors can build these things and give actual warehouses to businesses. And you can put gyms in there. You can put CrossFits. You can put diesel mechanics, HVAC storage units. You can put tile flooring companies in there. I mean, there's so much opportunity for small businesses to grow in these flex spaces. So that's going to be huge. In correlation to that, strategic storage units, you as you're driving through your local town, look around the area. You'll start to see storage units just pop up out of nowhere. That demand was already huge. It is going to quadruple. It is going to quadruple as these mortgage rates, commercial mortgage lending rates skyrocket and they can't refinance. They're going to literally just turn the keys in. They're going to walk away from these buildings. This is already happening. So as I said last podcast, we had a $300 million AT&T building in St. Louis, Missouri, that literally just sold for $4 million. Yeah, it's happening now. So be on the lookout. The second asset class that you could buy a futures contract. Now, this is not investment advice, guys. I'm just saying look out for it because I think it will just skyrocket. There's going to be a little dip, but then it will come back like a roaring lion, and that will be copper. The reason copper is very, very interesting is because during April of 2020, right before it, there was a decrease in demand. And as these lockdowns happened, they needed this industrial metal for lockdowns. And so secretly and under the radar, copper became this like huge necessity. And there was mining that they needed to mine for copper. They needed to mine for a lot of things. So copper will explode. So if you're trying to make a trade, a good trade would be if we do get in a lockdown, look at the copper and in the futures market. There'll be a ton of business opportunity there to make a ton of money. In my opinion, obviously you need to speak with your advisor to see if it's right for you. And you should only invest money that you can afford to lose. Because future contracts, if it doesn't hit a certain time at a certain point, you could lose everything. And these aren't trades for retirees, for people that are retired. This is for play money, speculative money. But I like copper going into this pandemic that they're going to force. They're going to force jab us. They're going to force inoculate us financially. They're going to force bank accounts. They're going to force the ATMs. They're just going to force you to go digital. And what I can say is that we've got a lot of calls on which bank I should do. Where should I go? I can't say which bank you should go. They need to pay me to say that. And I got to vet them. And I'm not giving them free advertising on my show that I pay for. And number 4, non-member banks. Like FDIC, I'm not a big fan of FDIC because in order to be FDIC, you got to have the federal mandates. You got to have the federal mandates. That means the Fed Now programs. That means the bail-in programs. The Dodd-Frank Act of 2010. You literally become a creditor to the bank when the bank goes belly up. There's probably going to be 50% banks that go belly up due to this ruckus, due to this commercial real estate crisis. You add COVID into that, 2.0, Plandemic 2.0. I don't know what's going to happen, but what I do know is that you need to insure your money. So give us a call, 813-448-3446. If you want a conversation and you don't know if we're a right fit, or you just have some questions, give us a call. info@CortezWM.com. We're safe money specialists. One of our consultants can talk to you about safe money strategies. You can sign up for income guarantee, which right now they're paying a 15% bonus. You will get literally over 7% payout for the rest of your life. The problem with those is that your principal goes down, but they're on a hook for income for life. If that's you, great, give us a call. Well, my favorite is the growth-oriented accounts, where you have insurance on your money, your principal is growing. They are comprising the indices are very smart. They're ran by AI and human day traders on a day-to-day basis. They grow anywhere from 7 to 15% on average annually, and you're plucking 5-6% out every single year. So $1 million goes in, you've taken $1.1 million out in income over the next 5 to 10 years. And at the end of that 10 year, you still got your $1 million plus what you started with. So plus interest, what you started with. So it's pretty amazing that you've heard of the saying, I'm going to just live off the interest. Well, let's just do that, because for those of you that have municipal bonds, you're hurting right now. They're going to rise interest rates. And do you really want to put your family's life saving on the backs of a municipality? Even though they're government regulated bonds or government obligated bonds, or they could be revenue bonds, they're still backed by either the state or the government. And guys, you are losing principal because of the rising interest rates. So we have bond alternatives where you can still generate the 4 to 5% that you're making off your municipal bonds. You pull it from your safe money account because it's a bond alternative. You get a principal guarantee. Markets and interest rates rise, you lose nothing, period. So that is a great alternative for you municipal bond owners. There's billions of dollars in municipal bonds. So give us a call. We're here to help you coordinate and obviously personalize a tailored plan for you, an income plan. Retirement is about two things. It's about risk and income. Control your risk and control your income. Unfortunately, people risk their income in retirement, and that's where crap hits the fan, man. So you got to be very careful. Let us help you with a strategy. We have literally the best tools on the planet, I feel, for our God-fearing patriots. Not only do we have great products, but we have American-made products. We have companies that we represent that honor God, country, and the family, that don't subscribe to the woke agenda, that doesn't send money to China, that doesn't vaccinate and force mandate their employees. When you do business with these big banks, that's what they're doing. So don't do business with these huge banks that are not on the same page with you. I can't stress that enough. God will never question how much money you've made or your interest you've made. He'll question your character to make that money. So if that resonates with you, give us a call, 813-448-3446, or visit us online at CortezWM.com. Speaking of all American made, oh my goodness, I have the best beef that I can possibly imagine having, because it's clean, it's not vaccinated, no hormones injected, straight from the farm to the fork on your table. Go to switchmyproductsusa.com. You can sign up for the beef. Somebody will contact you, and you can get your air fresheners, your protein bars. My clothes smell amazing because of this amazing laundry detergent I have that is no chemicals, no Procter & Gamble garbage, satanic ingredients, none of that garbage. Deodorants, candles, air fresheners, and most importantly, the cleaners. The cleaners are harsh chemical free. They're non-toxic. You could spray your tongue and not die from it. Unlike a bottle of Procter & Gamble juice, you can't even wipe food surfaces with it. And I grew up, my mom using a can of Lysol, cleaning everything, or Dawn, and all these products that have crazy, crazy chemicals in them on food services. And maybe that's why I'm a little crazy, right? But don't do that to your family. Get a little bit of products switch from Products USA. They're all American made, and you're supporting an American company that loves God, country, and family. Also, if you are interested in a consultation, I can't stress this enough. Before we go into this pandemic, before Q3 and Q4, actually we're on the brink of Q3, ending Q3. Before we go into Q4, give us a call. Let's restructure your plan. Can't do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. Okay? That's actually insanity. You need to readjust your plan. You need to have confidence. You need to have the ability to adjust with this ongoing artificially intelligent type of markets we're in. Like, you have to be proactive, because they will be proactive against you. Give us a call, 813-448-3446. I really, really look forward to speaking with you. If I can't, then one of my consultants, Dustin or Josh, will be able to. But you can call our office 9 to 5 Eastern, 813-448-3446. You can email us at info@cortezwm.com or visit us at cortezwm.com. Also, if you want to find a little about our approach, a lot of clients want to know who we are, what makes us different. Just go to americafirstretirementplan.com, americafirstretirementplan.com, all spelled out, and you can download our free guide, americafirstretirementplan.com. And we're going to talk about the yellow money, the red money, the green money. The green money is principal protected accounts, insured accounts. The yellow money is smart money that uses AI and human day traders to watch your money with seatbelts and floors. Still limited risk. Red money is probably where you're at right now, fully blown, exposed into the stock market, a sitting duck, fear, uncertainty, and doubt kicks in. We want to get you out of red money and put you into safe money or yellow money. Those guys are on americafirstretirementplan.com. I hope you guys have a great Friday or weekend. I don't know when this is going to air, but I will see you on the next episode, which will air this weekend. Well, God bless you, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.